Hi everyone, welcome back to Metanoia. My name is Carrie Jane, and today I'm going to be talking about seeing number combinations, repeating number combinations, such as 1122, 1133, 1144, etc. And last week we talked about seeing number sequences, such as 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, yeah, etc. And these two videos were inspired by a comment on my Q&A video, and I was glad that it was mentioned because we are all seeing a lot of different kinds of number sequences, not just 111, 222, 333, etc. A lot of us are seeing even very unique combinations, and I'm hoping that by expanding this playlist a little bit, you guys can get a sense of the fundamental aspects of each and every number, so that even though I don't know the specific number sequence you're seeing, I can still kind of explain things in such a way where you can apply it to your own experiences, to your own number combinations that you are encountering. I'm hoping that's, by doing a video like this, you can kind of see how numbers blend together to make a message that you're meant to receive, or to, confirm something, etc. And so, also, before I begin, like I said in the previous video, please be sure to pay attention to what you were thinking that day, or the theme of that day, or what you were thinking at that exact moment when you saw the repeating number sequence, because context is everything. When it comes to this, it's going to really kind of tell you exactly what this means for you, so pay attention to that. And yeah, bear with me in this video because there's just a lot to cover. I have a lot of notes here, so if you see me looking down, that's why. I want to make sure that I don't forget anything. Yeah, let's begin. So the common aspect to all these number combinations is that it has the number 11 in it. And the number 11, or rather just the number 1, kind of reminds me of clear quartz. So if you are into stones, if you're into crystals and their metaphysical properties, you know that clear quartz is considered as an amplifier. Whatever you put next to it, it kind of just amplifies the energy of that, and it also kind of brings a sort of clarity to its surroundings. And so that is what the number 11 does for whatever is found next to it. But also the number 11 is about mastery. It signifies potential. The number 1 is initiative, okay? It's willpower, it's all these things. And so the way that I have outlined this entire video for each message, is that there is a sort of mastery to each specific number combination, and we're going to go through that today. So let's explore the types of mastery that the universe might be hinting at you. If you're seeing 1111, just watch my repeating number 1 playlist. That's what that means essentially. And let's go over to 1122. 1122, I wrote here, is the mastery of love and the mastery of our intuition. I think that often this means that we need to trust our intuition a little bit more. We might have like a strong feeling about something, or maybe we're ignoring something that we are feeling for the sake of something else or whatever. And the universe is actually kind of trying to hint at you that there is something to this. There is something to what's going on right now. There's something to how you're feeling. Pay attention to it. You are an emotional person. You're an intuitive person. And don't ignore your gut instincts. 1122 also reduces to the number 6, which to me signifies a potential need to figure out a way how to get peace in your life, to harmonize your life. 6 is very nurturing. It's about obligations to our home life, to our community, but also to ourselves. This might be happening to you, this number sequence might be following you because there's, something that you're neglecting. You might need to kind of just pause and take it easy and learn how to get back into being more gentle with yourself or perhaps others. It really could mean a number of things. The number 2 is also about balance, so you might just need to strike a balance in your life somewhere. And so this is the mastery of trying to figure out all these things, trying to make a space in your life that is inviting towards these things. And for the number 22, I think that it's about balance and love and emotions and your intuition, make space for these things. We have so many numbers to cover, so let's move on to 1133. And for that, this is the mastery of communications. And what's interesting about this number combination is that it reduces to the number 8. So it's hinting at something in our physical environment. So this might be trying to encourage you to get involved with the people around you, expressing yourself in your community, or maybe even, physically spending more time with other people. This might be getting out of your comfort zone if you're more of an introvert. Might be kind of just hinting at something in your physical environment is of use to you in such a way that you should use to help express yourself and to develop better communications. And this is so broad that my mind is reeling over what this could potentially mean. Maybe you're having a stressful work environment and the universe is telling you need to work on communication, communication is awry with someone. Or maybe you're just kind of unsettled in some way in your life and you're not sure how. And the universe is telling you need to get out there, you need to get into the flow of abundance and figure out a way to manifest abundance through the art of living. 3 is a very creative number. It's a very magical number. It's like joy. It's pure joy. It's like a holiday. So just think about this. Reflect on this and what this could mean in your life. I also wrote here for this combination, not just the mastery of communications, but the mastery of joy. Raising your spirit through the frequency of joy. There is the talk of ascension with the number 3 a lot of the time. I wrote here, attaining mastery through your interpersonal relations somehow. Like I said, the physical people in your life, networking, just being around people. And if you're like me and being around people is a little bit more difficult for you for whatever reason, maybe you're in the wrong environment or maybe it's something else, I recommend YouTube. It's a great place to learn how to communicate as well as share your ideas with people who you would normally not be able to come in contact with because of not, your physical environment, not being able to reach them. 1144 is the next combination, and for that I wrote down mastery of the home. But it's more than this. There's something very intriguing about this number combination. Really, what is home? And I asked that question in my repeating number 4 playlist. So is home our physical houses? Is it who we're with? And is it our physical bodies? And the answer is it's all of these, but also much more. Perhaps even much more than we can fathom in this life. Home is potentially a state of mind, a state of spirit. It could be something more ethereal. And I think that's, I wrote here, I'm just going to read what I wrote here because I think this conveys it better. I wrote, this is initiative in making a place for yourself, okay, in this world. It's the mastery, essentially, of co-creation. So what is co-creation? I should probably make a separate video on that, because people have a lot of different ideas on what co-creation is, but in a nutshell, to me, co-creation is just taking what you've been given, your circumstance, and doing the best that you can with it. That's why it's a co-creation. You know, we're not manifesting 100% of this life. It's more like we're being put into difficult situations and we got to make the best of it. And so acknowledging that I am responsible for at least 50% of this physical environment, this home environment that I'm in, or this mental environment that I'm in, or this emotional, spiritual environment that I'm in. Taking responsibility of that and doing something with it. You know, co-creation is like a whole big topic, like I said, probably for another video. And when you do work with that, it opens up a whole new world. I also wrote here that 1144 reduces to the number 1. And so this is an emphasis on willpower and independence. So you might have to go out on a limb to get to that place, to feel home if you don't feel home. Or perhaps, you know, you're already doing this. You know, maybe this is a confirmation to you. All these number sequences could also just be a confirmation, you know. It's like, we see you doing that. Good job. I like that. Keep doing that. That will further your progress. Yeah, so in a nutshell, I think 1144 is mastery of the home and taking initiative in your life to create a life for yourself. Not just being in life, but having a life. And for every single person, that's going to mean something very unique. So continuing on, the next number combination that we have is 1155. And for that, I call it the mastery of change. Entropy is the natural state of the universe. Everything wants to kind of just fall apart. And that sounds scary always, and that sounds arduous and stressful, and sometimes it really is. But other times it's exactly what we need. Sometimes it's a relief to have everything dissolve so that we can reorganize things again into a way that fits us best, or in a way that is more conducive to our growth here on planet Earth. And so I think that seeing 1155 could potentially signify a need to kind of master the wave of change, you know, saying, okay, change needs to happen, or change is happening, and you should just ride this out because this is life and this is how this happens. I also wrote here that it reduces to 3. And 3, as you already know, because we just said, is about magic. It's about, you know, joy. It's a very uplifting, happy number. And so I think that this is also potentially about embracing the magic of our lives, you know, remembering to live even when things are stressful, even when things are not exactly going how we want them to go. Maybe we keep trying to push our life this way, but our lives have different plans for us, or maybe it's something else. I don't know. I don't know you. I don't know what's going on in your life. But 5, in addition to change, and especially when it's combined with the number 3, I always see it as a reminder to remember to don't forget to live your life as a human being. You know, the number 5 is also about like the 5 senses. It's, you know, everything that we see and everything that we hear and everything that we touch and everything that we eat. So perhaps this is a message for you to, you know, embrace change by reconnecting with your life in this physical manner. Going on a spa day, going somewhere beautiful where you can like experience, fresh air, like you can smell smell beautiful aromas of flowers and like have the sun on your face and feel what that's like, and just reconnecting in that way as well. I wrote here that nothing ever stays the same forever. It must eventually change. And if you aren't happy right now where you are, remember that it won't always be this way. So that's another potential message. Can you see how this could kind of go? It's like maybe you're despondent because things aren't changing. Maybe you do want things to change and it's taking a long time, and it's kind of like maybe a Wheel of Fortune type of message where it's like, listen, it's gonna change eventually. Everything is going to change, whether it's from bad to good or good to bad. Like, it's never not in this constant state of the Wheel of Fortune. So that can bring us some comfort at a time where we're struggling in that way. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say for 11:55 right now. Let's move to 11:66, which is, I wrote here, the mastery of obligations, which doesn't sound fun, but let me explain. We have obligations at work, in our family, with our friends, and 6 is about family, and so this is how the number 6 can translate to obligations. It's because when there is a focus on our family, usually it means there's a focus on our community, and we all have different ideas of family, and so for some of us it's our immediate relatives, for some of us it's our friends, for some of us it's our coworkers. And the thing is that whether we kind of want it or not, like, humanity is our family, and so whoever we have to be around on a daily basis, that's kind of our family. We do have work families, and we do have our blood relatives, and then we have our friends that we've chosen, that we've encountered, so the interesting thing about 11:66 is that it reduces to the number 5, which brings something completely different to the message, and that is a change. So perhaps we need to change something in these communities that we have, and we have to do it by the way of balance and harmonization. We need to heal parts of ourselves and heal our potentially our relationships with people. We need to kind of put energy towards that in order to have a better life for ourselves. Also with the number 5, and you could potentially do this in the 11:55 message as well, be careful of escapism. Perhaps this is where the negative connotation of 6 comes from. Although I don't think it's ever in the context of 11:66. It's like 5, when it's on the negative side of everything, it's about escape, it's about being so done with something, perhaps boredom, perhaps something else, where you're just kind of getting lost in a repeated habit such as addiction or what have you. Just basically having a habit that's not healthy for us, whatever that is. It could be anything. So that's potentially like a warning with that. Just, don't disconnect. 11:66 is about connecting. The only way out through anything is through. The only way out is through. That is a quote that I really like, and I agree with it, and I think that this is potentially a message for 11:66. But I also wrote here, mastering our obligations gives us ultimate peace deep within ourselves, where we cannot be swayed, manipulated, or shaken. So when we kind of deal with these obligations, or we're dealing with this dissonance that we could potentially be having, and we overcome them and heal that, we can finally harmonize and experience a deep peace. And when we're grounded in that peace, there's very little things that can actually shake us out of that. It's in that way that seeing 11:66 could be a gift. I wrote here as well, ask for help if you need it. maybe you're seeing 1166 because all these communities are asking too much of you. You need to ask for help if that's happening. I wrote here that when you overcome these obstacles and, going over the hill and getting to the other side of this, when you reach that point, there is a person, you, capable of inspiring others and helping others and being nurturing in that way. So always, whenever you help yourself, whenever you heal yourself, you are also healing all of us. You're helping all of us. You're helping your community. 1177 is a very powerful number combination. And for that, I have the mastery of faith. And boy, does it take a lot of strength to have faith. And it takes a lot of willpower to have faith. It's about strengthening your faith, obviously, finding your strength in faith. And it just takes a lot of courage to do this. And I think that this is often a confirmation sign. I think if you're not being haunted by this number, but perhaps you just get a glance of it randomly at a time, it's usually because I think you've started to head in a direction, whether that be in your mind or in your physical reality, it doesn't really matter, where you are really kind of finally doing your life's work in some way. And doing your life's work does not necessarily mean getting ahead in your career or writing that book, etc. It means ascending yourself as a human being into more than what you are. And you are a lot. I don't want to say that exactly, because it kind of makes it sound like you're, we start out as something that's bad and we need to become something good. It's not so much that as it is we need to kind of shed the things that are not us, that are not good for our growth and not good for our purpose. And when we do that, we get in touch with our divine purpose, which is what the number 7 is all about. I think that the number 1177 suggests that you are either in need of having an open heart and an open mind, or you are having an open heart and an open mind, and the universe is applauding you for that. And I also wrote here that this is about connecting to the non-material world. And the interesting thing about this number sequence is that it reduces to the number 7. So the number 7 is very, very strong. I think that out of all the number combinations, it's truest to its constituents, it's almost as if you're seeing 777 and not just 1177. So this is something to take into consideration. With this number combination is a very intense message of wisdom and grace and everything that is divine. And if you're seeing this often, it's likely that you have embarked on an immense journey of divine purpose and awakening. And it's a very psychic vibration. You might be having dreams that come true, or for whatever reason, it's just really easy for you to connect to higher thought forms. It reminds me of downloads, receiving downloads, if you've ever gone through the standard awakening, whatever that means for us. A lot of us get certain symptoms that are strange and unexplainable, for whatever reason, my head is tingling a lot in one place for a long period of time, and then it just goes away. Or for whatever reason, I just feel like I know what's going to happen in 5 minutes, and it happens. We all have very strange, unique experiences. I once had this very strange experience. Okay, story time for 1 second, where I was in high school, and that's when a lot of my awakening was initiated. And I was with my best friend at the time, and we're not talking to each other. We're just sitting on the couch, watching TV, and then all of a sudden I taste shrimp in my mouth. I taste shrimp cocktail. There was no reason for me to like experience that. And it was just the strangest thing. I've never like spontaneously tasted something before in my mouth. And I turned to my friend and I go, I don't know why, but I think I want shrimp cocktail, which was the most random thing that you could say to a person. And it just so happened that she was typing on her phone something about shrimp, like for like a menu item. I don't know, something. She was telling something about shrimp to someone at that time, and I didn't believe her. And she just kind of like showed me her phone, and she was like in the middle of the text talking about shrimp, and I was like, okay, this is weird. So if if you're not new to this channel and you've had some sort of like weird experiences on your spiritual journey, like this is not going to be strange to you. I'm sure you've had stuff like this happen to you before, but also if this didn't happen to you before, this probably sounds very strange to you. So for those of you out there, I'm sorry. But when the number 7, the energy of the number 7 in this way is around you in your life like this, a lot of weird divine things, sometimes like ESP kind of things, can happen to you at random. And I'm sorry I'm taking such a long time to get through these. I'll try to go faster for these last few. So now we're on 1188, which is the mastery of our physical world. 8 is everything about our physical environment. It's our finances, our physical structures, everything that we own, kind of like the 4 in that it's our bodies and stuff as well, but instead of taking it from the angle of trying to find a home and feel home, instead taking the angle of mastering this physical world and mastering abundance, feeling like we have enough, feeling like we have more than enough, things of this nature. And so this could be hinting at our finances. What does this mean? What could this potentially mean for us? Like many of the messages we talked about so far could mean almost anything. Maybe abundance is coming to you at this time, but that's a common one that I think people just tell one another to make them feel better. Unfortunately, it's not that that's not going to happen. It could happen. But at the same time, I still feel like numerology and things of this nature are about much more than just like, you're going to get money, So you catch my drift? You see what I'm saying here? I think that this message is about how success is possible, but you have to take accountability for your thoughts and your actions. It's possible that at this time, whatever you're thinking and feeling is very much affecting your physical world, and you may not be aware of it. And if you're receiving this message, it's letting you know that be careful. Be careful of what you're thinking. Try to be more in the flow of abundance. Try to be grateful, express gratitude to what you already have. That's the best way to invite more into your space. Sometimes the best way to invite more into our spaces is actually to give. When we give our time, our energy, our resources to something, we're making space for something else to fit in there. It's like, try to get into that kind of thinking if you're struggling right now, and if you're not struggling right now, maybe you're feeling pretty good about how things are going, and you see this number and it's like, that's kind of like a confirmation, like, yeah, you're getting in touch with that, and success is possible, and you're doing a great job about thinking in this positive way and not feeling like a victim instead, and etc. So I think that's how the 1188 combo is about the mastery of the physical world. Moving on, we made through a whole page, that's good, double-sided. Let's talk about 1199. This is kind of an intense number because it's all about endings and beginnings, which are basically the same. And so the number 9 is about, clearing out the old to make way for the new. And, excuse me, sorry. When we do this, it's sometimes an emotional process. And I think for this especially, it probably is because the number 1199 reduces to the number 2, which is about emotions and love and things of that nature. So perhaps we're in the middle of going through some past traumas, or maybe something just came to an end. Maybe like our, lease is up in one way or another, and we suddenly find ourselves in a circumstance where we're starting a new life somewhere. But before we do that, there's like a lot of packing up, packing up and getting ready to go. And while we're doing that, it's an emotional process because we can't take everything from the past with us into our new life. And we have a lot of endings and beginnings in life. There's a lot of deaths in our life. There's many different kinds of death. There's graduation, that's kind of like a death. There's, moving out of your house. There's like literally any kind of ending. Your friend moves away from you. Your best friend that you've had for 8 years is relocating and you won't see them every day anymore. That's kind of like a death. It's a new life. And so this is an emotional process where things are coming to some kind of conclusion. But on the other side of this is something very beautiful and somewhere that you're meant to be. So keep that in mind while you're doing this kind of work. Yeah, so I basically just wrote here that your new life will be dedicated towards a greater purpose. One that is more geared towards that of a light worker. And the number 9 is considered the most evolved number throughout the sequence because we had to go through so much stuff to get there. And so having said everything I said about the number 9, I'm going to conclude the message by saying that it is the mastery of our evolution, our own evolution as humans and potentially as, spirits in our human bodies. And I didn't write this down. I didn't include it in my notes. I forgot to, but what if you're seeing 1100, like 1100 or, whatever. I think that's, in a sense, 1100 would be kind of like the mastery of creation. When we start out on a project and our ideas are like raw, we're having very raw emotions and we're having very raw forms of expression because we're just starting out in our journeys. It is the mastery of this space of nothingness where anything is possible. It is the Fool, okay? In tarot. And so if you're seeing this number, perhaps you're embarking on not only something that's entirely new, but something where anything is possible and is asking you to keep your mind open to the possibilities of this, because you're not even on step 1 yet. It's like you're in a position where it's like whatever you're working on or wherever you are in your life, it could go anyway. and feel the magic of that. Read up on the Fool in tarot. I think that is a very good card to study if you are seeing the number 1100 a lot. And I think I'm gonna end it there. Like I said, I'm sorry that this video is so long. I'm sorry that sometimes these videos I go on a little bit of a tangent. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it to the end of this video, as always, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel so that those who are meant to find it can. And as always, I would also love to hear your experiences with seeing number sequences or seeing these number combinations or what have you. I'm always interested in hearing what people are going through and what they're encountering on their own metanoia. So I'll see you all very soon. Have a lovely week and take care.